Huh. You'd think this was a movie monster series Shin Godzilla figure with how much I'm talking about this mold.
ShinRobjira.
Today we're going to be talking about the Super 7, 1200 degrees Celsius Shogun Warriors Godzilla. Hopefully I read that right. Super 7 Shogun Warriors Godzilla Round 3, now entirely themed after Godzilla vs. Destoroyah's Burning Godzilla. All in beautiful translucent fashion, and the same everything else, so let's just get started. And here he is with his butt-ugly Shogun brethren. The Aurora Model Kit's version just had to screw it up. I'm just kidding, I still do love that box. But anyway, enough with the nostalgia. Paint and detail-wise, we are going to get a lot different from the other two. The major difference here being the translucent orange base for this guy. Don't worry, we'll be talking about translucency in a bit, but just look at that. You can see the full spring mechanism in his head. You can see right through his body. You can see a little bit through his tail, more so just the body. And the arms and the legs are a little bit thicker and harder to see through, but as you can see, it's pretty see-through. The major difference on this guy, aside from the orange base, is also going to be in the paint. We have yellow eyes, red irises, pupils, thingies. We're going to get a red mouth with some white teeth. No, unfortunately, the fire tongue over here is not translucent, but it is red and yellow, so it does make sense. Just look at this stark contrast. Yeah, they might all be of the same mold, but it's nice to see that they all have their own identities. Alright, back to differences. Look at this beautiful, thick mac and cheese yellow we've got going on over here. We are, of course, going to get that yellow on both hands and both sides of both hands. Very, very nice. And most importantly, we're going to get this giant yellow splooch on Goji's torso, his chest and semi-crotchal region. This is what I would love to see a translucent Godzilla figure looking like. Translucent orange, lots of reds and yellows on him. This is perfection. Speaking of perfection, we also have some yellow toes. Bit on the sloppy side on the bottom, but hey, who's looking at the bottom of Godzilla's feet? I know there's probably a few people out there looking at the bottom of Godzilla's feet. Speaking of the bottom of Godzilla's feet, we have Super 7 China, trademark Toho. And now we take a look at the tail and the back, and we are graced with more awesome yellow paint on this stumpy little pickle of a tail. Looking mighty, mighty fine if you ask me, and these dorsal fins are outfitted with more of that yellow, and it goes right up to Godzilla's neck peg. This is honestly a really nice little change of pace, and while Burning Godzilla might be a bit of a safer option when it comes to variants of figures, this is definitely one of the cooler, safer options I've seen for figure variants. The paint application on the eyes and the teeth are actually pretty good. The nose is a little bit of the same of what we've seen prior. Opposite eyes and teeth look pretty cool. The fire design on his gross and disgusting tongue are pretty much the same that we've seen thus far. And since this is just a remold, we're going to get all of that fantastic, ugly Shogun detail that we've gotten with the other figures just in translucent orange plastic. Detail, solid star. Paint, solid star. Yet again, if you're going to be making an orange, translucent Godzilla figure, this is what I need to see done. Lots of colors that can properly blend in with the orange, but shine and really punch your eyes in the face with its bright and vibrantness. Don't worry, we'll get back to that subject a little bit later. But right now, we have to talk about articulation, as if you don't already know. Starting at the head, and this is more of a feature than just articulation, but the head can also go all the way around like so. The arms can also go all the way around, but I am not going to push it. Okay, maybe just a little bit like that. Yes, I do not want to scrape off any of this magnificent yellow paint, so I am not going to be forcing the arms to go all the way around, he says as he does it. And the legs can kick up about this far and back about this far. This is as far as I'm willing to really push these things, both for the sake of this being translucent plastic and possibly weaker than the standard, and because I don't want to scrape off any paint. And of course, the tail can go all the way around. Cannot forget Rocket Punch Wrist Swivel, Solid Starino. Now let's talk about the other thing that I was alluding to before we did articulation. As I said, this is how you do a translucent orange Godzilla figure. You add highlights to it, no matter how ridiculous it is, because it just looks good. just looks cool. Now, the reason I say this is because I just recently got a fully translucent Burning Godzilla figure, and while I do love him and his metallic coppery dorsal fins and such, I do so wish this guy got as much love as this dude did. A little bit of yellow over here, on the nails, on the toes, on the torso, maybe a little bit of red on the teeth and on the inside of the mouth. While I do very much prefer the coppery paint for the dorsal fins and top of the tail, I do wish it kind of, popped a little bit more, much like this yellow. But for the sake of sakes, I wouldn't change that. It would mostly just be his bland frontal figure. But at the end of the day, it is a translucent orange Godzilla figure, so it's going to catch eyes no matter what. But seriously, some yellow eyes, maybe some red eyes, some yellow and red in the mouth, chest, all that. Like I said before, this paint job on this guy, I think, would go a million miles per minute. Personally, when it comes to burning figure variants, I would say that Hedorah definitely had the right idea going on. Different colors, highlighting and blending in with the translucent vinyl, a variation and melding of colors with some metallic paint on there. Hedorah had the better burning figure last year. Not so much Godzilla. But that is the end of this little comparison here, and that is the end of my nitpicking. Now, let's take a look at the box, because why the heck not? It's a cool looking box. Now don't worry, this really won't take very long, because this is the exact same box that we got with the original Shogun Warriors Super 7 Godzilla figure, except that all the pictures of Shogun Warriors Godzilla has Godzilla in his translucent orange and yellow paint job. And honestly, it's pretty cool. I like it. I like it a lot. And I do so think it is a proper companion piece to the original box. Just look at these two lads together. They look positively perfect. I love it, I love it, I love it. Makes me wish that they did boxes like these for just about every Godzilla release that they're going to end up doing, but I know that those ReAction figures are going to be more so in line with what they normally do with their publicly released, widely released, I should say. And truly, I really do think these guys just look really, really nice together. If I wasn't none the wiser, you could have told me that this was based on the Burning Godzilla Shogun Warriors figure that was released all the way back in, I don't remember the year, and I would have believed you, because this does look like a figure that came out at the time that the original Shogun Warriors Godzilla came out. I'm a sucker for some cool variants, and I am so glad that I picked this guy up. And honestly, I'm glad I picked this guy up too, even though as of now, he's my least favorite of the Super 7 ReAction Godzilla figures. It's just nice to have 3 different versions of the same mold be so vividly different from one another. And who could forget the translucency? I did, because I'm recording this afterwards, but yes, he is rather translucent in a very, very glorious fashion as well. Yeah, the tail doesn't seem super translucent like the body, nor do the legs, but for the most part, everything else on this lad is super duper translucent, and I am a sucker for seeing the mechanisms in these translucent figures just at work. Like, yeah! So cool. So, a solid star for paint and detail and articulation, and you know what? I like this box variant so much that I'll give this a nice little sub rating of a solid star as well. I like that Super 7 are keeping us well fed with re-releases of this mold, but I really am just ready for that Showa era collection to just drop already. You know, I want to see what else you guys are capable of with these other figures, and I just want them in my collection and in my hands now. So if anything, maybe do one more variant before those come out, or just release those now, please, so I can give you all of my money, please. Size comparison time: small, medium, large, relatable. Burning Shogun Goji is pretty dang cool. While not the instant seller like his first incarnation, I really couldn't say no to this thing. I much prefer this guy over the second variant, the Aurora Model Kits version. And this paint though, man, ooh! I love that yellow highlight a bit too much. Here's to hoping we get maybe 1 or 2 more variants of this mold over time, or at least 1 more before the Showa set drops. Personally, I'd love to see a glitter Goji variant of this. You know, translucent black plastic, gold glittery bits all infused into the mold. That would be pretty cool to do there, Super 7. Hit me up. I got more ideas. But anyway, that's enough out of me. I have been ShinRobjira. Do so hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all later on in the week for another video. Don't know if it's going to be a review or a tier list or something like that, but you'll find out after I end up recording and editing it and all that fun stuff. So long and good night.